So, hello everyone, a very warm welcome to this podcast. If you're someone who is not looking for to join a college which just give you a theoretical knowledge, then there is a college called Mesa School of Business, which gives a practical knowledge, practical exposure. And today we have Akshay with us, who was the part of second cohort, and he will be sharing his experience, what it feels to be studying at one of the new generation business school of the country. So very warm welcome, Akshay. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you so much, Gautam, for having me. And this is a very nice sort of initiative you have taken, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
So first things first, what drew you towards Mesa? Why did you choose Mesa School of Business? What was the reason behind it? You must be getting other options. Why not a traditional business school of the country?
Yes, yes. And I think that's a very valid question to start this conversation with, because the why should of every candidate who applies to Mesa should be a really strong why. So, before I answer that question directly, let me give you a quick intro about myself. Uh, I am Akshay Joshi. I am basically from Pune. I have work experience of 3 years at Amazon. Apart from that, I was leading treks back in Pune and was managing a part of business vertical for Mid Earth Adventures. And after 3 years at Amazon, I chose to be at Mesa. And after doing a couple of life projects, couple of internships, right now I'm working at Jumbo Tail here in Bangalore. So that is so far about me. And coming back to your question, uh, what drew me to Mesa? I knew for the fact that
Mhm.
I learn basically by doing. And Mesa positioned itself right there that academics ke saath saath you will get opportunities to meet and interact with startup leaders. You will have to do live projects, internships, and eventually you will get placed in the startup ecosystem. And I really like that as against any kind of theoretical learning, not just for 1 year, but for 2 years, because many conventional MBA programs last for close to 2 years. So that was the point where I decided, like, I think this program is made for me, and that's how I ended up at Mesa. I hope that answers your question.
Right, right. So to be very specific, Mesa, I think differentiate itself from the market just by having a new type of learning ecosystem, right? Matlab, you are not inside the classroom. I think there's a lot of activities outside the classroom. Matlab, touch upon that part, like how Mesa is different from a traditional business schools of the country.
Correct, correct. So I will share perfectly my example here. Mesa pitches close to around 60 to 70% of the curriculum to be in class, and 30 to 40% out class component. For me, out of 12 months which I was at Mesa, I spent 5 months doing internships, and that too full time internships, and close to 3 months doing part time life projects. So that is where I've learned a lot. And whatever I've learned, the theory in the initial 3 4 months, I applied each and everything in my life projects and internships, and that's how I reinforced the learnings. And right now, currently implementing that very much actively at Jumbo Tail.
Right, right. So I think what's Jumbo Tail, by the way, matlab, just to get a context to the audience.
Yes. So Jumbo Tail is a B2B e-commerce platform for FMCG and staples. To simplify it in one line, we can say it is Amazon for Kirana store owners.
Okay, so great, great. So let's get started with the basics, like how to get into Mesha. I think the give the audience the context. I was also one of the the candidate who also got an offer to join Mesa. Due to some of my reasons, I didn't join. I thought to give some more time to the startup and corporate sector and maybe join in later years. So I didn't choose to join Mesa, but I know the process. Uh, there's a admission test, then there's a essay writing, there's an in-person interview. Matlab, how was yours? Matlab, how did you get into Mesa? I think that's what everyone needs to get through. What was your experience to get into Mesa? And what
Yes.
type of candidates are often selected? What do you feel? Who gets a preference?
So I think I will first answer your second question. That is, who is the ideal fit for Mesa? I would slightly restructure your question that who is given preference is does not depend on where you have worked or at what position you have worked, but it totally depends on the personality type and what you want to do in the future. And to give that a little more sort of specification, uh, especially people who are driven, who are hungry to learn, who have that kind of ownership mindset, that learnability factor, and who can sort of thrive in the startup ecosystem, is sort of the persona which is very much suitable for Mesa. So, irrespective of whether you come from a family business or a corporate giant like Amazon, or you are just a fresher, if you show these traits of high learnability, drive, passion, and some basic fundamentals of business, then you can be a great fit at Mesa.
Right, right, true that, and that's a differentiating factor for Mesha. And how about the admissions process? Like, how has been for yours?
Yes. So, uh, I belong to the second cohort of Mesa, and my admission process started with a basic test, which had math, quant, and basic logical reasoning as well. That was sort of a qualifier for a couple of essays, which I had to write and get it reviewed by the Mesa team. And then it was an in-person round with Varun Limaye, who's the founder of Mesa. And later I was given a marketing taildown assignment as a last step of admission cycle. But I think after the second cohort, the entire admission cycle is evolving a lot. So, as per my current information, there are multiple rounds of interviews. Uh, for me, it was just one, but right now there are two, three.
True. So I got offer for cohort three, and I had a two round of interview. One with the founder itself, Varun, and second with the I think there's a person I'm forgetting his name. He works in one of the founders' office only.
Yeah,
So with him, so there were two rounds, but mostly it was same only essay application,
correct.
some case study, PPT submission, then two rounds of interview. So that's how it has been.
Yes.
And
So,
yeah,
if anyone wants to crack a Mesa, I think uh, this interview process, apart from the person of it which I mentioned, you should be doing some kind of case solving, some kind of guesstimates, and really be thorough on who you are, what your experience has been, why you have taken some critical decisions in your life, and why you want to be at Mesa, and what value will you add to the cohort of the Mesa. I think these are the questions which one should touch upon during their entire admission cycle.
true. And I think that really helps in the scholarship part as well. I was offered Bharat Builder Scholarship. That's one of the scholarship that they offer. So I think this call, the whole your story, showcasing your story, why you're a good fit for Mesa, it really helps you to get a good sort of scholarship also because you are paying a hefty amount of money. So if you get a good amount of scholarship, I think that really helps up. So I think moving next, I think most of the information about academic admissions are available over YouTube and internet. Let's move to the curriculum and pedagogy, like how the whole youth, the in-class and out-class thing is divided into how what sort of activities are planned for you when you enter Mesa. If you can touch upon those aspect of the curriculum.
Sure. So for us, the entire 1 year was divided into 7 terms. And the year started with 1 week long induction, which was extremely hectic, but at the same time, very fun because we were able to play games and solve many business cases, and at the same time, get to know our cohort mates. So that's how the Mesa year starts. and then it is followed by a couple of terms which are heavy on academics part, where you learn more about marketing, you learn more about statistics, uh, some basically theoretically heavy subjects are in the first two semesters, the first two terms, sorry. And eventually the outclass part starts getting involved. Also, I forgot to mention the BYOB, that is Build Your Own Business Initiative, or the project starts right at the start of your year. So that is the first outclass component of Mesa, where I was actually, we started a perfumes business called Potions, and we were able to sort of clock in a revenue of 1.6 lakh in close to 6 weeks. And that's how the year starts, and slowly it starts very broad, and then you try to narrow it down through your life projects and internships, like which role are you targeting or which companies are you targeting. In that way you narrow your outclass component through very specific life projects, very specific internships, and eventually a full-time role, or if you want to start something of your own, that was something very extremely phenomenal.
So, to give you the summary, BYOB is build your own business, where you come up with an idea and go on field, right, to sell the product. And it
Correct.
can be anything. It can be a perfume business. It can be anything that you want to sell. It's a physical product, right,
Yes,
which you
it's a
have to go in the market and sell and try to bring some revenue out. I think that's the BYOB.
the
Okay.
objective of BYOB
It's
is to
different from the drop shipping challenge, right? Drop shipping, that whole
mm,
drop shipping thing.
no there is no any specific thing as drop shipping at Mesa. It is essentially BYOB, build your own business, where drop shipping can be one of the options, but we chose to set up an entire brand and a unique product and not drop ship any products. But entire
Got it.
objective of BYOB is to push you to start something of your own, get that 0 to 1 experience, and also how to do sales. Extremely important.
So one of the great thing to start with. And how about the courses? Like, if you can name few of the courses that you learned during the whole academic year that were common, and then electives, what were those courses? And who came to teach you?
Correct. So, some mandate. There were many courses, but few of the courses which I remember was finance, marketing, um, statistics, and these were mandatory courses. Economics, and many more. Yeah. And these are fragmented courses across the terms, and electives are mainly into technology or category management or product, venture capital. These are sort of electives. But again, this was the case when I was in Mesa, that is the second cohort. But if you are planning to get into fourth cohort or the the further subsequent cohorts, then it can be very different. The reason being, Mesa is just 2 years old right now, and they are continuously iterating and getting better year over year. So don't base your expectations on my experience, but you can actually talk whenever you are seeing this video to their current students.
And what were the who were the professors who were coming to teach these courses? Were they some academic experts or some industry professions? Well, what sort of uh,
Yes, so it's a mix. For almost all courses, there are people who are extremely specialized in that subject. And when I say specialized, that means either academically they are specialized in that subject, or they have a huge experience in their sort of work experience. And we had PhD scholars who taught us finance. We had many sort of startup leaders who came and taught us operations. We had few of content creators who came and taught us marketing. So yeah, it's a mix.
And in a typical school, it's more of either a case-based learning or either some theoretical-based learning, like how the Mesa classroom goes on. Like what do you learn in those classrooms? What sort of pedagogy they follow? And what type
Yes.
of examinations they conduct? Is it like what ChatGPT based open examination? Like what's unique?
So there is a in the first and the second term we have a huge component of case based learning, and for that we are given a case 2 to 3 days prior. We work in teams, solve that case, make a presentation, and after 2 to 3 days, the actual startup leader who has actually solved that kind of case in his or her real life, that person comes in and we have to present our solution, our approach of solving that problem to the startup leader. And we had the opportunity to meet sort of maybe at least 25, 30 startup leaders in the first 2 to 3 terms. And that is how we learn by sort of going through multiple business problems at the same time. And it is parallelly backed by academics.
Gotcha. And how would the so Mesa has been positioned, as far as I know, Mesa has been positioned as one of the colleges where you can start something of your own. So I feel there must be two type of kids in the classroom. One who wants to get a placement out of the college, and one who wants to start a startup. So I heard there are few startups also which has came out of Mesa. So how these two different verticals look like, how these two journeys look like in the classroom, or these two journeys of the students.
That's a very good question, I think. So there are three buckets of students at least at the starting of the year. One who are extremely focused on building, they want to build something of their own. Second is they are very specific that they want to like get a full-time role in existing startups in the startup ecosystem. And then there are people they want to give it a try of building a startup of their own, and if that does not go well, then they can shift to the startup ecosystem part, taking a full-time role. And all three are welcomed by the Mesa team, but that sort of decision making, one has to be very diligent कि मैं क्या करना चाहता हूँ, is they should be confident on their own decision. And as I mentioned कि academics तो parallelly चलते रहते हैं. What each person will, where they will implement it, it depends on what they really want to do. And as terms go, usually those who are focused on building something of their own, they enter the MSL track, that is Mesa Startup Lab. Those who are focused on full-time roles, they focus on BSL, that is Business Strategy Labs, where we get live projects. So I completely focused on the BSL. So I was had the opportunity to work with Blue Tokai on a very large problem statement. Uh, and for MSL folks, it is their own startups implementing those kind of learnings from marketing, finance, operations in their own startups. And for me, it was understanding the problem of Blue Tokai and then implementing my learnings over there.
Gotcha. So you were a part of the Mesa, I think business startup lab, right? BSL, where you want to get a career out of the get into the placements thing. And how about the MSL thing? Like MSL, is there any specific startup which has came out of Mesa, which is in a profitable stage as of now? Or if you have any idea on how Mesa helps the startups to get launch their first product, or how to get into the market from ideation to execution stage, how Mesa helps.
Got it, got it. So there is a separate panel of mentors. There are regular check-ins, and there is a lot of effort put by Mesa team on sort of curating really good founders. And once your startup gets some kind of traction, then there is a lot of more support which is poured in. And a few of the startups to name, I wouldn't comment on the financials because I don't have any visibility, but a few of the startups from our first cohort First is MPC, that is Mumbai Power Company. It's a QSR, uh, and Fab Invest, who is into real estate investing, and many more. So you can check that online, but that is the support which Mesa gives, and there are if really things go really well, VCs are not at all far away.
Gotcha. So, matlab, you have an idea, and then Mesa will helps you in and out to do the execution part done, to connect with the industry leaders, to help you every support you need to finally launch your first product. Like that's how the whole startup wala angle is there, right?
Yeah, I'll be very honest here. Ki the fact is, you have to be more driven. If the Mesa team is more driven, then it is their startup. It is not your startup. So, if anyone is really so much driven, then they will put in efforts बहुत ज़्यादा, and then Mesa is there to back it. जहाँ पर भी ज़रूरत पड़े, they are ready to step in. But entire efforts and sort of decision making should ideally come from the students.
Gotcha. So the one line summary is key. If someone wants to start something of their own, Mesa can be the enabler in their
Correct.
journey. So I
Very
think this, if someone is listening to this podcast who wants to start their own startup, I guess Mesa will be the enabler for you if you
correct.
want to.
Mesa cannot give you idea. Mesa cannot help you do that sales. But what Mesa can give you is a right set of mentors with whom you can talk and sharpen your idea. Mesa can connect you with startup leaders who have been in a similar position, and then you can learn better and maybe put that into your operations or your cash flows. That is something Mesa can do.
If I'm not wrong, there's someone who recently appeared in Shark Tank India and who recently joined as the Mesa UZ program. Mesa started the undergraduation program, also BBA program. I think the startup name is Project Clay. If you have
Yeah.
heard about, that champ also appeared in the Shark Tank India season 4, I guess.
Yes. Dyumna is in the YouTube.
Right. And so I think we covered mostly upon that MSL part, Mesa Startup Lab. Let's come again to the BSL, business what's the thing called?
Business, Business Strategy Lab.
Business Strategy Lab, right? So you were a part of Business Strategy Lab. So I think the pipeline was you were doing some internships, some live projects, and then finally, well, how did the whole that thing work? Like, let's say I want to become a product manager or a category manager or a business manager. So how will Mesa help me to get into that role, or what type of opportunity comes for me? Like, how they prepare you? Because let's say I'm a noob guy, just fresh out of the college, I do not know much, and I want to become a business leader in startups. How will Mesa help me?
Correct, correct. So I will share my example and then you can take some kind of reference from that. I was very clear to get into a business generalist role. And that's why I wanted to test my understanding and overall broaden my exposure to different sectors. Uh, and that's why the first problem statement which I picked was of Supertails. Supertails is again a e-commerce platform for pet products. And the problem was a GTM strategy problem. So that was the first live project which I did. The second live project which I did was for Blue Tokai on how can they go on selecting newer locations for their expansion into cafes. So that was the second problem statement, second live project, and the time span was around 1.5 month on each project. Uh, and eventually, after doing live projects, you are supposed to do like internships. Again, I did, mine is an exceptional case. I did two internships because I really wanted to do that. First one was in Leap Scholar, which is a edtech. I was in their founder's office interning for close to 2.5 months. And then I got into Next Bharat Ventures, which is a social impact VC fund. Again, I was working as a program intern there. And uh, entire focus, ideally, you should be narrowing down your scope as you move ahead in your Mesa journey. to end up in a position where you are extremely sharp, you know about the role, you know about the sector, and you just go and get a full-time role in that startup. So for me, the business generalist was very much specific, but I was trying and testing different sectors and industries, and eventually I ended up at Jumbotail, which is again e-commerce platform. So if you look at my journey, it has been Amazon e-commerce, Supertails also e-commerce platform, and then Jumbotail.
Right. I think Akshay, in a traditional business school, there's only a one internship program, and companies come. Uh, there are a lot of people who are fighting for that one seat, and well, how different this whole Mesa internship and live project thing is from a traditional school. Because
Yes,
I think you are doing two internships and then live project also all within a year. So
correct.
it seems a very different thing from a traditional B school. Like how this whole thing is planned up.
Yes, correct. So, uh, if the entire cohort is extremely diverse, few are freshers, few have 7 years of experience. I had 3 years of experience. Few want to pivot from one sector to another sector. Few want to pivot their functions. Someone was a business generalist; they want to end up into a product role, and that's how you need to craft your own journey. And Mesa helps you craft that journey. So if you are pivoting to a different role or to a different sector, ideally it should be the life project and the internship should be that sort of transition. But if you want to go deeper into your prior work experience, then you don't need to even do an internship. You can complete your academics for 1 year and then directly sort of uh, go in a full-time role. So this entire life projects internship to full-time role journey is very much customizable and depends on case to case.
Gotcha. So the whole picture is that you need to be clear what you want to get out of Mesa. So you have to craft your journey. Let's say you want to get into product or business, and then Mesa will help you to get some live projects for you. Anyway, you have to make some efforts, right? If I'm right. And
Correct.
same for internships. Mesa will help you to grab some internships. Even you have to make some
True.
efforts, internships on those domain where you want to get into. And through this, you are building a CV, your portfolio, and then at end, you are transitioning for a full-time career.
Correct. Absolutely summed up well.
So I think what unique I found is in a traditional B school, in a 7 day span, all the companies come up. You have to fight for that internship seat. In Mesa, you have to craft your own journey. That if you want to get into there, you have to find your dream company for internships, and then you have to try to get
Correct.
that internship. I think
Maybe I
this.
would like to interject over here. So at Mesa, there is no point in competing with your peers
Oh,
because
okay.
there is no point in it. You might feel the competition because someone is getting that internship, someone is getting their internship, you are not getting what you want. That is a FOMO. But there is no competition, which that is how I perceive it. कि यार ये कंपनी में इससे इंटर्नशिप मिल गई तो आई विल लूज ऑन इट इज नॉट एट ऑल द केस देयर आर एम्पल अपॉर्चुनिटीज आउट देयर इन द स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम एंड treated this entire message journey as a collaborative process rather than a competition. And
But so once you are done with these internships and live projects, how Mesa help you to get into the final placements thing? Like how that whole thing works?
so there is a internal portal where regular job postings come, and we apply actively on those kind of job openings. And if Mesa comes across any specific job openings which are very much suitable to my profile, they also do contact me and ask me if I'm really interested and go ahead and help me apply in that. And application process depends on company to company. It can be a direct interview, or it can be some kind of first assignment and then a couple of interviews. And Mesa helps by assigning mentors of those sectors, for those function, for those company specific mentors as well. So that's how it is extremely helpful.
So it's not a one day process, right? Like
No, no, no,
companies
no, no, not at all.
traditional B schools.
No, not at all. You can easily take like 1.5 months to
So
like.
companies are coming up, and as per your interest, you can choose, apply.
Yes,
And the
yes,
same thing holds for internships also. There's a
yes,
portal where you have to apply for internships. The opportunities are there,
correct,
and internships are also a long process. Like within a two in a long span of time, you have to keep
correct,
on hunting as per your interest and all.
correct. So even if you find opportunities on LinkedIn or source on your own, you can reach out to the Mesa team that I found this opportunity. I would really like to apply, and they will help you prepare for that. Whatever basics are needed, they'll refine that. They also keep some kind of mock interviews to sharpen our interview taking skills, and a lot of initiatives are there.
Acha. So I feel it seems more like a personalized journey which Mesa curates for you
Yes.
depending upon your niche. And what type of moving next, what type of companies often comes up, and what type of roles often comes up for Mesa students? Uh,
Got it. Got it.
if you can give some idea on that part.
Yes. So for my cohort, most of the roles were business generalist or category managers, uh, and few were EIRs as well, slightly senior roles, EIR or chief of staff roles, and students who really wanted to go in the VC and product. They were a handful of students, but those who really wanted to end up in those sectors, they did end up by fetching the right opportunities. So essentially, it is business generalist, category managers, product, VC, and these 4 or 5 main roles.
Acha. And type of companies that come up, is it early stage startups, late stage startups, big conglomerates? What type of companies usually comes up on campus?
So uh, big conglomerates are out of question. I think there is one exception in our cohort, but it is like 1 in 105, so can be neglected. Uh, Mainly into startups and VC funds, for that matter. Um so Jumbo Deal is a 10-year-old company. We can call it a startup, but it is also valued at around $1 billion. So it is not even a large conglomerate, but it is not even a early stage startup. So uh, there are ample opportunities in terms of early stage, mid stage, and well established startups like say Zomato, Zepto, even those kind of stuff.
Right. Right. And how are the numbers? Like, what's the typical uh, range of salaries that goes on? Because if we can check the latest website, the fees is often around 20 lakhs. So, and even I checked the cohort one placement records. If I'm not wrong, its average is around 24 or something. I'm not sure on
Correct.
that part. Like how's the thing? Like, is ROI worth the, because you're paying a lot of money in a new college. So, what's the typical range that? Well, that's one of the important question that students have during joining the course. If someone wants to get some placements out of it, so
Correct, correct, correct. So I think is the average CTC for the first cohort was around 24-25 lakh. The numbers for our cohort are still not disclosed, and even I don't have that visibility. Um and on the ROI part, again, I think for the first 2 cohorts, the fee structure was entirely different. And the reason why there was absolutely no placement record, at least this 25 lakh average CTC is visible right now. But for the first cohort and the second cohort as well, when I took admission, there was no placement record as such. So we as students were also taking a large bet on Mesa, for that matter, on the founders as well. and that is the reason why the fee structure was extremely on the lower side. Right now it is around 20, and I don't think I am in a position to comment if ROI is right or not for these kind of numbers, because again the outcomes are yet not yet disclosed, and uh, yeah, for us the fee structure was very different.
True. Uh, I think that part is definitely there. It's the person's choice to get into such colleges or not. And one of
I
the amazing thing I
But
found in Mesa,
sorry to interrupt here, but I think if anyone is coming from a lens of pure ROI, I think you are not the best persona for Mesa. I will tell you why. If you really want to focus on ROI, you can go into any IIMs, not just top, but maybe baby IIMs as well, and you are bound to get that ROI. But at Mesa, you should be targeting more on your network. You should be targeting more on the asymmetric outcomes which you can get out of Mesa through your network, through your peers, and the sort of mentor support you will get at Mesa. So I'm not trying to say कि यार सैलरी बहुत ही कम मिलेगी, ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, बट सिर्फ सैलरी या आरओआई के एंगल से आ रहे हो तो माइट नॉट बी द बेस्ट यूज ऑफ मेसा.
I think great advice, and I think this holds really well for the UG students also, because Mesa started a college a program after 12th, and often after class 12 there is a very less amount of kids who are interested in such courses, and if they want, I think they can take such advices. They can look from more of a being skill ready, because
Correct.
I think if I'm sure Mesa UG program doesn't provide a degree, right? Uh, so it's purely from a skill. You're getting a skill ready in a changing VUCA world, right? If I'm like, what's your
Correct.
comment on UG course? And
Honestly, the UG course started right now, and I haven't interacted with the students yet, so I think I won't comment on that.
right, right. But more or less, like, what do you feel you get out of Mesa after spending a huge amount of time? So, matlab, how? Well, what were your expectations? And so you now you're a working professional, you work in a startup. So, what unique abilities did you develop during Mesa that you find it's unique for you compared to other peers in the company?
Yes,
Something you
so I
want
think
to.
one basic expectation which I had was to get a thorough understanding of how businesses work. And I'm happy to share that I've got a lot of deeper understanding into multiple businesses across different sectors, how they operate, uh, and a lot of understanding first. Um and another thing is sort of thinking in a very structured way, thinking from a very much customer centric perspective, and not jumping onto solutions or conclusions is what I've learned, and actively implementing that.
Right. So, do you feel studying at Mesa helped you in such a changing AI world where uh, there's nothing of a surety, right? Like what happens tomorrow. So, matlab, what's your take on it? Like, are you enough skillable in the market? Like, what is the startup ecosystem is demanding these days? What do you feel on those aspects?
Correct, correct. I think I am a guy who is more on the business side than on the tech side. So for me, ability to learn the sort of nuances of any industry very fast. Second, using first principles and breaking down problems. And once you break down problems, generating some kind of solutions and actually implementing that on ground uh, is something which I look forward to. The speed with which you do it, the accuracy with which you do it depends a lot. And I have honed that in last 1.5 years.
Right. And what about the startup ecosystem, like how it's changing in today's world. Uh, what type of new trends you're seeing in the market, or from the Mesa lens, do you feel degree is more important from a good brand, or a skill is more important? Like, it's a very debatable question, but what's your take on it? I just wanted to know your take. Studying from a skill ready college, do you feel skillable enough? Like, what's your take on this whole skill versus degree wala angle?
करेक्ट करेक्ट सो मैं यहाँ पे बहुत ऑब्जेक्टिव रहूंगा एंड आई विल बी वेरी कैंडिड एज पॉसिबल कि स्किल सेट ये व्हेन इट कम्स टू स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम यू हैव टू एग्जीक्यूट इट डजेंट मैटर कि तू कौन से कॉलेज या कौन से कंपनी से आ रहा है इफ यू आर कमिंग हियर एंड सॉल्विंग द प्रॉब्लम व्हिच द फाउंडर हैज देन you are of immense value. So when it comes to startup ecosystem, it is definitely core skill sets and not कौन कितना बड़ा ब्रांड है तेरे पीछे. But एज अ होल इफ यू लुक एट तो ये डिबेट मुझे बहुत ज्यादा स्क्यूड लगता है. If you focus purely on startups, I think it is very much valid. But if मतलब एकदम रॉ अगर रखना है ना तो सिंपल है. अगर कोई आईआईटी से है और अगर कोई टीयर 3 इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज से है, ऑन पेपर कोई भी इंसान उठा ले, आईआईटी वाला इज मच मोर वैल्यूएबल बिकॉज इट इज आईआईटी and no one can deny it and no one should deny it. That is a fact. But if the same IIT guy is very lazy and not able to bring the output which say tier 3 engineering person is able to put in those 12 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours a day and get those outcomes with sheer hard work and uh, just the smartness the person has, then I think uh, that can outperform brands.
True, I think this answers the question well. One question I have is around AI. What do you feel? How ChatGPT, AI, machine learning, and these things are changing the business dynamic, startup world, and all? Not from a tech angle, from the business angle.
I think the speed at which information is being processed and business operations are being enabled by AI is tremendous. Uh, it is like efficiency is been sort of exponentially increasing because of AI. But again, I tend to look at it as a very macro thing. Uh, like if we see 10 years down the line, I think it is still a bubble. I'm not sure where the world is going in the
And
short
yeah,
term.
that's why it's called VUCA world.
Yeah,
Very
right.
dynamic, uncertain. I think we missed on the hostel angle. Like, how
Hmm.
are the food? Where is the hostel located? What type of people join Mesa? Who were your colleagues? Which were your favorite subject? Your favorite professor? How was? Well, if you can cover these non-academic angle a bit, uh, you can throw some light on that part. How is the vibe inside the whole Mesa campus and all?
Yes. I think the vibe is of hustle, the vibe is of passion at the campus. And when it comes to hostel, I was at the property two. Like there are mm, during the second quarter, we had only two properties. Right now, including the UG cohort, I think there are four different properties. So property two had a very sort of ghar jaisa vibe. People were really warm, and we celebrated Diwali, Ganpati, New Year's, Holi for that matter together. The vibe was very warm. And what else did you ask?
Uh, what was your favorite subject? The favorite professor, or something on those aspects?
I think the two professors which I very much remember and love is Professor Sundar and Professor Narhari. Both are teachers, finance teachers. I am very weak at finance, but I loved both the professors.
Nice. And I think the how was the demographic of the class? You said from fresher to 7 years of experience, ranging from different states, right?
So for the second cohort, I think 5-6% were freshers, 5-6% were extremely experienced, like 6-7 years of experience. Average work ex was around 2.5-3 years experience, and there were people all over from all over India, so a lot of diversity in terms of cohort.
And how did you find the Bangalore city? Because it's built for startups. One, and secondly, Mesa is again a startup school. So somehow it's trying to make a place in the city, in the ecosystem. So I think people must be knowing about Mesa. So what
Correct.
has been your experience so far about Mesa and the Bangalore city itself?
I think wherever I've gone, it can be professional or personal sort of uh, instances. In Bangalore, Mesa is very well known, and deeper in the industry, senior leaders also acknowledge the fact that the talent which is coming out of Mesa is very precious, and they value it really, like they really value it a lot.
Great. So I think, yeah, that was all, Akshay. Uh, just wanted to know about Mesa. So thanks a lot for coming in. Any sort of advice for those who are, last words for those who are watching this video and looking to take a call on Mesa?
I think uh, I would definitely like to give one sort of advice, that is, take this entire video as a very generic information of around Mesa. Don't uh, take this information as a decision maker. If you want to go deeper into your decision making, I think you should reach out to at least 8 to 10 sort of alumni of Mesa, and I am happy to connect with each and everyone who wishes to connect. My LinkedIn can be linked below in the
So
YouTube.
for sure, yeah.
But honestly, मैं खुद I operate very much differently when it comes to one on one feedback, because वहाँ पे बहुत specific होता है कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. This video can be taken as कि मैसा क्या है, what to expect, what to not expect. But if you want to go deeper कि मेरे लिए सही होगा कि नहीं होगा ये part पे, then you can connect with me or any other ex students of Mesa. That will be very helpful for you.
True. I think that same thing even I did when I got an offer from Mesa. I connected with 7, 8 people and
Correct.
just interacted and shared my story and tried to get that what value Mesa will bring for me.
Correct. Correct.
Is it the right fit at the present time? So Mesa was the
Correct.
right fit for me, but not at the present time. So I thought, let's spend some more years in the corporate startup sector, know what is my passion, know where I want to get my life ahead. So that's where I am as present. So yeah, I think Akshay, that was all. Thanks a lot for coming in, giving the time.
Thank you so much, Gautam, for having me. And I wish you all the best. And I wish those who are applying for Mesa, even if you get in Mesa, all the best. Even if you don't get in Mesa, I think life has much more to offer. So nothing to worry at all. All the very best.
Cool. Then thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you so much.